song. 6 foot, 7 foot. Marlon Wayne's my favorite song. You know, when I play it in my car, it's super loud.
Guns it. Sanders in a pocket. Oh, what a catch. Travis Hunter, give him the Heisman now.
My job is to come out and be Travis Hunter, come out and play how they envision me to play and, you know, exceed all the expectations. I mean, in the pros, it's a lot different. You know, all I got is football. In college, I had to manage school, football, and, you know, personal life. But, you know, I had a good team around me. So in college, it was kind of easy to me. You know, I pretty much, you know, focused on football, but I did my schoolwork. And, you know, in the pros, it's going to be the same way for me, but I don't have schoolwork. So I can go my 24 hours and nothing but football.
Goal, here's McCord, trying to win it for Syracuse. Gives it to Allen. Allen is stopped by Woodard. Still going. No! He gets through! Allen gets through! He wins the game!
Look out! There goes two! No flags! Touchdown!
With the 200th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Rayon Lane III, defensive back, Navy.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark.
All right, welcome in everybody. Jaguars Today off and rolling for the next couple of hours. Dylan Denmark, I will do my best not to bring my personal mood to impact Jaguar fandom, who generally I feel are, you know, in a feel-good space. It's winning the off-season time for Jaguar fandom. That was a crushing loss for my New York Knicks last night to blow a 14-point lead with 2.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, I almost texted you. I was like, nah, I won't do that.
I appreciate you not doing that, actually.
I was going to text you right after Halliburton hit that shot. I was like, Knicks got this in overtime. And I'm glad.
Oh, I did not think that would be the case. I'm glad. I wish you had been right. But anyway, I honestly thought about, you know, doing one of those, what's the most devastating loss you've ever felt as a Jaguar fan? I don't know if it gets worse, though, than the AFC Championship game loss, 3rd-1 to the Tennessee Titans when you thought you were the better team and you just couldn't find a way to beat that one particular team that kept you from the Super Bowl that year. So, and, you know, I don't want to drag everybody down at this part of the offseason either. Look, I get it. You can be level-headed. You don't have to expect the Jags to go 15-2, but it's okay to look on the bright side of things at this point. We haven't been proven wrong about Liam Cohen or James Gladstone's selections or Tony Baselli's influence on the organization or the players that they've brought in or any of that stuff. So I'm trying to go with the positive. I almost had a hell of a night. Had a walk-off bottom of the ninth home run for the Yankees, and the Knicks looked like they're on their way to epic blowout victory, but wasn't to be the case in Denmark. I got an early afternoon first pitch, 12:35. So if they lose that, the rest of my day is shot. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to do at this point in time. All right. I'll try to be better.
Moving on.
Yes. Hey, here's some positivity. D-Rock's going to join the program today. Okay, that's always fun. We've got our Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day, which is kind of on the positive side of things. I think if you're going to ask who is the player you have the most faith in on the Jaguars, would it not be Brian Thomas Jr. for the majority of
He'd
people?
have to be number one, probably by not a wide margin, but a decent margin.
You would think, right? I mean, and at least speaking for myself, the guy had first-round ability, and he proved it. Like, you could say, well, Travis Hunter's got first-round ability, right, but we haven't seen it yet. So for me, I'd have more confidence that Brian Thomas Jr. is going to play at a high level, near Pro Bowl, if not Pro Bowl level for this football team. There aren't many guys in that category, so we took him out of it because he felt like such an easy one. So taking out Brian Thomas, and we didn't want to go the specialists either. We know everyone's got faith in our kicker, punter, long snapper situation. That's great. They're an important part of the football team. Not questioning that, but let's, move beyond that aspect. So on offense and defense, outside of Brian Thomas, who's the player you have the most confidence in this year to play at a high level, right? So you may think, my expectations for this guy, I'm pretty sure he's going to meet him, but I don't expect much out of him. So who's the guy that you expect a lot out of and feel confident that he will deliver that for you in 2025 for the Jacksonville Jaguars? We'll break down some of the candidates as we go along today. I think it's tough to find him on offense, quite frankly, unless you want to go with the new blood coming in here. But we'll kind of discuss some of these. So you're telling me the Jags are favored. Where are they favored? In 6 games. At was it DraftKings? Is it Hard Rock Bet?
Yes, this is DraftKings.
The DraftKings
from Jaguars Jags Wire.
All right, let me bring up
from
the
last week.
Jacksonville Jaguars 2025 schedule. And you say they're favored in a half dozen games this year.
Yes,
Is that
sir.
correct? All right.
As of last week.
Oh, is this pop quiz for me?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not realize that. Let me see if I can get the schedule up and handy here. I know they're favored in the opener against Carolina.
That is correct.
Right? So that's an easy one. Carolina Panthers. I'm going to say not favored against the Bengals.
Correct. Bengals favored by 5.5.
Okay. I'm going to skip the Texans home game. Come back to that. I'm going to say they're not favored against San Fran.
Correct.
Going to say they're not favored against Kansas City.
4.5.
Let me skip the Seattle game for now. I'm going to say they're not favored against the Rams.
Correct.
At Vegas, that's a possibility. I'm going to say they're not favored at Houston.
Correct.
Okay. Not favored against the Chargers.
Correct.
Not favored against Arizona.
Correct.
Okay, so that leaves some of the usual. Not favored against Denver.
Correct.
So I've got all the division games, the Jets game, and the Raiders game as the other ones.
And
here.
Seattle.
And Seattle, that's right. I'll say they're not favored against Seattle.
Jags are favored 1.5 against Seattle.
Are they? Interesting. All right.
Home field.
Then that changes things up for me. I'm going to say they're favored at home against Tennessee and Indy.
Yes.
Both of those, right? At home.
Correct.
Okay, so they're favored against Carolina, Indy at home, Seattle at home, Tennessee at home. How about the Jets at home?
4.5 point favorites
For the
Jaguars.
The Jags. So only one other game they're favored, Tennessee on the road?
Yep. 1.5.
There you go. So Houston favored to come in here and win, and Indy favored to beat us.
And the Raiders are favored 1.5 over the Jags.
Yes, by process of elimination. I see where you're headed with that whole thing. Anyway, all right. Well, there you go. And the Colts lost their owner yesterday. Jim Irsay passed away, I guess in his sleep, they said. Were you as surprised as I was to find out he's only 65 years old?
Yes. That was very surprised. I mean, I knew that he hasn't been doing well with health the last couple of years, but I don't know, even before, 5-7 years ago when I saw him, I felt like he was up in his 60s or, low 70s.
He's one of those guys that had white hair forever, seemingly, right? And then, so that kind of throws you off. And, I don't know if he always took the best care of himself. I'm not trying to step on a man when he's down, and you wish the best for anybody impacted, by the loss of Jim Irsay. But of note, Shad Khan, owner of the Jaguars, of course, put out a statement. To hear the news of Jim Irsay's passing is heartbreaking, Mr. Khan said. Jim cared deeply about the National Football League. More important, Jim cared about everyone who loves the National Football League, players, coaches, fans, media, communities, champions of outstanding causes far and wide, and many others. Professionally and personally, Jim and his daughter made sure that my family was supported when we first arrived in Jacksonville. Jim's kindness and genuine interest in a promising future for the Jags, even as a rival of his beloved Indianapolis Colts, was an enduring trait in our relationship and will forever be a reminder of his high character, generosity, and commitment to people everywhere. Thank you, Jim. I believe it might have been, was it the last thing he sent out was basically wishing the Pacers luck yesterday? I know he tweeted that out yesterday. That might have been the last thing that he tweeted. He's obviously well known. He ran a lot of contests. Hey, if you can, he was big into classic rock, and he was a collector of musical paraphernalia from over the years. Famous guitars and drum sets and things like that. And he would give away, a suite to a Colts game if for the first person who can tell me whatever, with
some random facts from 1982 in a random game
that you generally couldn't look up,
right?
Very easily, because that would obviously defeat the purpose. Or he'd have you, everybody who replies, he'll draw one at random for $1,000 or something like that. So he enjoyed social media and interacting with the Colts fans, and so for their standpoint, sorry about the passing there, and we will have no mercy on the Colts when we play them in the regular season, but we won't play them for quite a while. I think that whatever Irsay effect that could be an effect in week one, rally around the former owner kind of situation, but by the time the Jags play the Colts, that'll have been beaten out of them, I think, by the end of the year. Both teams, right? Those kind of early season momentum or motivational type tactics. Travis Hunter, I heard the guys on the drill saying getting married on Saturday, Dylan.
I guess so.
You get the invite?
No, sir.
You going to crash it in your red shirt?
Red shirt, black shirt, orange shirt, blue shirt. It don't matter to me.
Now, Leanna Lene, is that his girlfriend? That's what Google tells me his fiance's name is.
I don't even know her name.
Okay, I didn't either. Like. So I don't get into try not to get in players' personal lives at all, other than to wish them the best. You know what I mean? So if this works for Travis Hunter, I'm not Travis Hunter. You go do you, Travis Hunter, and congratulations, and may you have a very fruitful marriage and with lots of little baby hunters running around one day, if that's what you want. I don't know, man. But anyway, he's settling in, getting these things taken care of early in the off season. He's got his focus, and he'll get a lot. Will Jaguar fandom get together and get Travis Hunter the 2025 equivalent of the toaster? Remember that for Trevor Lawrence? He had a fancy toaster on his gift registry.
I vaguely remember that now that you say it.
It was like a $300 toaster, I think. I mean, my memory's not always clear on these things. Don't take anything I say for gospel, but I don't know if we can find Travis Hunter's gift registry, but we should look. At least a quick Google search if that is available out there, and then we should spearhead the effort to get him a kitchen utensil or something like that. So that would be fun. I'll put the first 20 down to whatever Travis Hunter needs to furnish the new apartment or whatever the case. I'm pretty sure he can afford it, but that's not kind of the point of wedding gifts. So congrats to the soon-to-be Hunters, and hopefully it's a wonderful marriage sealed with many Super Bowl championships for the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, who is the player, or a few players, we'll debate several names today, they have the most confidence in to have a high level of play this season? This is exactly how we asked it. Other than Brian Thomas Jr. and the specialist, kicker, punter, long snapper, which Jacksonville Jaguars starter do you have the most confidence in to deliver a high level of performance in 2025? Let us know. Today, you can do that on the phone lines presented by Checkmate Coatings at 641-1010, 641-1010. Also on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Hop in the YouTube virtual studio chat. Post your comments, thoughts, questions, musings there, or hit us up on social media at MD_1010XL and at 1010XL Denmark.
Y'all ain't that good in New York.
Man. You had to go at me like that, right?
Because y'all think y'all the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Y'all chose violence this morning in the control room. I see what you're doing.
Come on, man. Y'all overrated.
Man, that's unbelievable. And did you see when they do the little DraftKings look-in, if you watch a game last night?
What are you talking about?
Kenny Smith they do a little, like, hey, prop bet thing with Charles and Kenny, right? Like a live little 10-second commercial where they open up another window. And Kenny goes, so, Charles, who's going to win the game? And he's like, Pacers. And this was like, they're up, like 11-7 at the time or something like that. So he ended up being right about that. So bully for him. All right, let's focus on Jaguar football, Dylan Denmark. I don't know what your problem is in there this morning, but, you're dropping down the current producer rankings, but you have nowhere to go because there's no one else to compete with you at the moment. All right, we'll have Mike DeRocco 20 minutes away, talking Jags with you for the next 2 hours. Keep it right here on Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. 1010XL takes you behind the microphone.
Are you not aware that I get farty and bloated with a foamy latte? Oh, yeah.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
I'm a hot habanero pepper right now.
Mornings on 1010XL.
Get a healthy start in 2025. The Florida Department of Health in Duval County is here to encourage you to get healthy and stay healthy this year. They have a dedicated team who are committed to providing quality care. The goal is to protect, promote, and improve the health of you and your family. Visit duval.floridahealth.gov to learn more about their health programs and services. That's duval.floridahealth.gov.
Ever wonder where your food comes from? Get back to the good old days with fresh produce delivered to you from local family farms. Subscribe today at doorbellfarms.com. Connecting real people with real family farms.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
Jaguars Today, Thursday.
Brought to you by Cannons of Jacksonville.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball is home at the newly renovated 5-Star Ballpark this week and weekend. Join us tonight for Coors Light Thirsty Thursday, fireworks tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday, plus free hats to the first 2,000 fans on Friday, courtesy of UF Health. Then it's Honey Drippers weekend with fireworks Saturday and Sunday. Tickets start at just $5. JackShrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable family fun.
When it comes to my opinion, I love dropping the hammer. I'm Hayes Carlyon. Listen for Hammer Time with Hayes, weekdays on The Frangie Show.
Hammer Time with Hayes, driven by Southside Kia. Online at SouthsideKiaJacks.com.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
Are you ready to play this summer? At the First Coast YMCA, we're committed to being your home for health and wellness and a place for friendly competition with team sports for adults and for kids. Basketball, volleyball, pickleball, flag football, soccer. The Y has something for everyone at any age. Discover all the benefits of YMCA membership and find your fun this summer at the Y. Registration for team sports and summer camps is open now. Visit fcymca.org.
Prosser here. Spring has sprung, and it's a great time to sell your house, but only if you have the very best on your side, and those very best are Chad and Sandy Newman. Spring selling season's here. Rates are down. Activity's up. It's the best time in years to sell your home, in fact, but there are homes sitting on the market. They don't have the right representation. That's where Chad and Sandy step in. Maybe you're worried your home needs repairs or updating and it won't sell for a good price. Maybe your family's growing and you need more space. Whatever the reason that you need to sell your home, Chad and Sandy deliver this promise to you. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Sounds pretty hassle-free to me. Take it from Mike and Rosemary in St. Augustine. We were determined to buy an affordable home in a specific school zone, but we didn't qualify for the loan needed to get one. Chad and Sandy's team worked with the lender, negotiated a higher qualification price, lower interest. It was huge, $200 less per month. Do it today. Call 414-6200 or go to chadandsandy.com.
Cannonball!
Honey, someone's in our pool.
Oh, refreshing.
John, what are you doing?
Oh, hey, Dave. Seeing as how me and the guys at Clearwater Irrigation reinstalled your sprinklers after the pool contractor ripped it out, I thought you wouldn't mind if I took a quick dip.
But in a Jaguar print Speedo?
Yeah, Dave. My bad.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage, too.
Interested in a unique date night? Gibby here. I took my wife Nikki to Wick a Candle Bar. She made her own custom candle right there in the store. Shop local at Wick a Candle Bar. Locations in San Marco and Jacks Beach.
Ackerman Cancer Center is celebrating a major milestone this month, treating their 3,000th patient with cutting-edge proton therapy. For excellence in cancer screening, diagnosis, and treatment, trust Ackerman Cancer Center. Learn more at ackermancancercenter.com.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
It's Mike Dempsey, and now's the time to get your roof hurricane ready with Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jacks Beach. Look, our rainy season is no joke, and if your roof's got damage, leaks, or it's just plain worn out, don't wait. Apex is local, dependable, and will show up on time using only premium materials with ironclad warranties. No shortcuts, no stress, just quality work you can trust. Skip the storm season scramble. Reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacks Beach or visit apexroofingfl.com.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, the Jacksonville Jaguars would like you to know they have a official Start times, dates, and all that for their preseason opponents. Is this new, Dylan?
I don't think it's new, the teams, but I think the times and the TV station.
Okay.
I think that's what it is because they already sent out the preseason schedule.
Right. So anyway, August 9th, that's Saturday versus Pittsburgh. 7 o'clock, that game's going to kick off. It'll be on Fox 30. They'll play at New Orleans following Sunday on the 17th. That one's going to be a 1 o'clock kick on CBS 47. And then back in Miami on the 23rd. So a short week there. Of course, you're going to have a couple weeks before the season opens up after that. And that one will, again, be at 7 o'clock on a Saturday. So 2 Saturdays at 7, 1 Sunday at 1 o'clock in the preseason. Steelers coming here. Do Steelers fans typically travel well? Do they travel well in the preseason? I don't know.
I do not have the information.
I would bet they do, though, because if
there's enough fans here.
Well, right. If you got enough Steeler fans around, because who wants to live in Pittsburgh, right? Get out of there as quick as you can. And I would imagine you're probably going to see a lot of people snatching up tickets in black and gold. That's just the way it goes. Got a new drink today, Dylan.
Well, yeah, what you got?
Well, I ran out of my normal energy drink at the house. I keep some backups. I keep the little Crystal Light energy packs. And I usually have like 4 or 5 of them in my cooler that I bring to work every day just to keep my drinks cool. And I get in the car and I'm driving, and I like at a red light. I'm like, oh, let me look, make sure I got nothing in there. So I stopped and I couldn't find what I drink. So I'm drinking a Monster Energy Zero Sugar. Oh my gosh, what is this called? Ultra Sunrise. This is not.
Heard monsters make you pee a lot.
Is that right?
That's what
I'll
Theo
let you
Vaughn
know.
said one time.
I'll keep you. Hold on, let me take a sip. So far, so good. Yeah, I like to. Once I find something I like, man, I don't like to mess it up.
I'm the same way. If I go to a restaurant, I like the same food every time I go because if I ever change it, it's usually not good, and then I regret.
You'd be like, I could have had that. I could have had the other thing that I know I like. Right? I'm the same way, man. I'm boring, but that's fine. Or I just know what I like, whatever the case may be. So this one's actually not half bad. All right, will we be saying that about the Jaguars' offense this year? What a transition that was right there. As today, we want to look at the player or players, if you want to send in more, that you have the most confidence in to deliver a high level of performance. Not this, I know what to expect from him. I expect it, and it's going to be really good. Outside of Brian Thomas Jr. on offense, Dylan, let's start with veteran players here, right? In that wide receiver core, I've already seen some people mention Parker Washington for this question. Like, I don't know how high a level of confidence you can have on that guy when, at best, he looks like the 4th receiver on the roster.
Yeah, and I mean, the moments he's flashed was the 2 years ago, the Monday night game whenever Christian Kirk got hurt. So it was like he had to perform.
I mean, he's done okay. I think he's a nice
decent,
player, but if you're talking about your some of your most confident feelings go towards a player who's the 4th receiver on your team, that doesn't say a whole lot for your depth chart, I don't think. I mean, Diami Brown, who has a high level of confidence other than James Gladstone and Liam Cohen, right? I mean, I don't. I hope for the best. I think the potential is there with him. Travis Hunter, you know what? I do to some degree, but also there's the question mark of how he's going to adapt to the NFL game, how much he's going to be able to play on both sides. But out of the wide receivers, not named Brian Thomas, certainly it's Travis Hunter. Like, Brenton Strange is going to be their lead tight end. What do you expect out of him? Is that a high level of performance? Whatever it is. Maybe, and I guess for a different type player, it can be a different thing. We're not asking Brenton Strange to go out there and catch 95 balls. At least I'm not expecting it to be anything close to that. I think, your tight end position, your lead guy may get 45, 50 balls this year, maybe 3 a week, right? But be a bone-crushing blocker. Can he deliver that high level of performance in those capacities? Yeah, I think it's reasonable. I don't think he's going to be called on to do too much in the passing game. But really, Dylan, as you look at the depth chart, there's nobody else I have any confidence in catching passes at the tight end position. So I think he's the clear leader in that category. I just don't know how productive that's going to be.
Yeah, Brenton Strange feels like a 60 catch, 600 yards, a couple of touchdowns here and there. And I wonder, like, if you look at a couple of the good teams last year, like you think of the Bills, Like, you don't think of, like, their stud receivers having a good year, but they had a good year offensively. Obviously, that has to do with the offensive line and their run game.
Yeah.
The Chiefs.
Cook was phenomenal last year.
The Chiefs. You had Rashee Rice get hurt. I mean, Juju Smith-Schuster was one of their lead guys for a couple of weeks. I wonder if this offense can get it rolling, if this is one of those offenses where, yes, Brian Thomas Jr. can get his like we saw a year ago, and teams have a year of film on him, so that, you would think that teams can adjust to him now as compared to a year ago. But, like, I wonder if the receiver core can still have good games, but you just don't see it in the box score.
It's always possible to have that, right? But it's the easiest way to gauge skill positions is by their productivity, right? I don't think we're going to be looking at, like, Brian Thomas ran 2 defenders off on a bunch of plays. What a great game it was as a decoy. You know what I mean? I mean, it may be effective and things like that. Look, guys are going to be coming gunning for him, but there's plenty of room for him to get better too, right? I mean, it's not like he wasn't a rookie last year. He came in and the Jags couldn't figure out how to use him for over half the season. And then finally he flourished down the stretch when they just said, forget it. People can't cover this guy. We're going to force feed him the football. And look, I think the sky's the limit, honestly, for Brian Thomas Jr. this year. I don't feel that way about this offensive line. I think it can be improved, but how many of these guys are you 100% certain are going to be starting at the beginning of the year and then 100% certain that they'll hold that job? Maybe Makari you feel the best about.
Anton.
Maybe. But do you have that high level of confidence that we're going to get? Which Anton are we going to get, last year or the year before? Or better than both? I don't know. Do you?
No, but of all the offensive line, I feel like I have the most confidence that Anton Harrison's probably going to perform the best and probably going to be the starter week 1 all the way through week 18.
All right. Boy, I think he's likely to be a year-long starter for this football team. And I do think he has probably the most natural ability of any of the tackle candidates. But again, we saw what we saw last year. He's got to be better. And then you come to the backfield, start with the running backs. I mean, is Travis Etienne going to be part of this team? Some people think he'll be the featured back. We ran that poll a few weeks ago. Who's going to score the most rushing touchdowns? It was chopped up pretty good between all the candidates, and that's not the only metric as to whether or not you're going to have a good season. Then you come to Trevor Lawrence, who, you want that to be the answer. I'm hopeful. I wouldn't say I'm highly confident. Many are in their responses, and I think there are some out there that just are going to keep pushing the Trevor Lawrence, I believe, until forced to not believe anymore. And I'm not saying that's definitely coming. I think Trevor can make all the plays, all the throws. Can he do it consistently? We'll find out. And can they build a running game to help him out? I mean, in terms of the overall team, I doubt my guy that I have the most confidence in to play at a high level comes off the offense. And once we're excluding Brian Thomas. If it were, I'd probably go with Travis Hunter, to be honest with you. And he hasn't played it down in the National Football League. And I know to a lot of people that would sound silly, but this is the NFL we live in now. When you are that guy, you can come in and show you're that guy right away. Time was not that long ago where receivers, even guys who went on to Hall of Fame careers, took a few years to really get rolling in the National Football League. It's not that way anymore. These guys, more is expected of them, more is demanded of them, and they're capable because of the way they're prepared with these passing games in college of delivering more. So I would probably put Hunter up there. I just can't count on how often he's going to be utilized, but I think the talent is there that I have a high degree of confidence that he'll play at a high level when given the opportunity to. Let us know what you think, other than Brian Thomas Jr. and the specialist, kicker, punter, long snapper. Which Jag starter do you have the most confidence in to deliver a high level of performance in 2025? And you go back to the running backs. I don't even have a high level of confidence in who's going to be the starter. So I can't have a high level of confidence that any one of them is going to deliver that high performance level this year. At least that's for me personally. If you feel differently, that's coming up next as we'll talk rookie minicamp, OTAs, and the future in the next several months for the Jacksonville Jaguars, what they hope to get accomplished before the kickoff of the 2025 NFL season. Mike Dempsey and Dylan Denmark here with you. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
At Cannons of Jacksonville, they know that when you're towing anything, you gotta have products you can rely on. With over 50 years of fabrication expertise, the family at Cannons can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Whether it's a heavy-duty hitch, trailer frame, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons will provide you with unmatched precision and durability. For all your towing needs, visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
If you like to decompress after a daily mess,
well, I guess you know all about me.
Hitch a ride home with the Frangie Show.
So what do you do for relaxation?
Frangie and Carline drive you home.
Woo! Hey, you want to drive?
Afternoons on 1010XL.
Need fresh and flavorful lunch? Chicken Salad Chick has scratch-made Southern-style chicken salad in every bite. It's quick and delicious, so why wait? Come taste the best chicken salad today at Town Center, Durbin Park, or Butler Point at Chicken Salad Chick.
You're locked in to Jaguars Today Thursday with
Cannons of Jacksonville.
Gun charges, drug charges. I'm Attorney Malcolm Anthony, and I specialize in handling these types of felony cases. Stay out of trouble. But if you don't, call me at 285-4LAW. That's 285-4LAW.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentist and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, 2 locations in Jacksonville.
The future starts now.
Let's go!
Follow 1010XL's coverage of organized team activities, cooked up by Hurricane Grill and Wings and Heroes Lawn Care. Keep the offseason rolling with AA Automotive and 1010XL.
When you think of hot, you might think about the tragic time you ate too much wasabi. Oh, no. Or about getting into your car on a summer day when it feels more like stepping into a sauna. But heat can work in your favor, like during Verizon Red Hot Deal Days. Get hundreds of hot deals on all your favorites, like iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence, Apple Watch Series 10, and iPad on any plan. Only until May 28th for new and existing customers. Offer available on My Plan. Only at Verizon.
Yo, E.T. here, and I need you to beat the heat this summer with cool escapes and non-stop fun in Clay County. Tackle indoor adventures head on. Throw axes at Live by Axe or smash your stress away at Just Smash That. Then kick back with drinks, good food, and fandom vibes at Nakama Anime Bar or Leaderboard Arcade and Bar. Whether you're blowing off steam or just looking to chill, Clay County got your perfect indoor getaway. Find your cool at exploreclay.com. That's exploreclay.com.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Jason, I don't see how a new air conditioner is going to work out for me.
Well, you like air conditioning, right?
Oh, yeah, totally. But a new air conditioner could be expensive.
Well, not if you...
I mean, to save up the money, I probably have to give up my extra hot skim latte every morning. Now I fall asleep during a staff meeting, get volunteered for the summer picnic committee, and end up sitting in the dunk tank all afternoon getting water up my nose.
Okay, look at it this way. Put on these sunglasses.
Whoa.
Bueller Air and Plumbing puts in a new AC. We hook you up with affordable financing, and you stay cool and comfortable for just $149 a month. Cool?
Cool. I see it now.
Life can be hard on your budget. If you suffer through the heat because of a broken AC you could totally afford to replace, you could visit.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Denny Thompson here. You gotta check out Tyson's Showroom Home Theater with surround sound and comfy theater chairs. You can transform your living room into a cinematic experience. I can stay there to watch all my games. It's that comfortable. Call Tyson today and bring the theater experience home. Tyson Sound and Security, your security, home theater, and home automation experts. New showroom at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming, Iowa.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. Did you know that mosquito bites could lead to heartworm for your dog or cat?
When mosquitoes show up, pet parents want them gone. Terminix takes mosquitoes down fast, just like they did at my house for our pup. Terminix knows that pets are part of the family. They do what it takes to help protect them. When mosquitoes show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with a mosquito problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com.
It's Work Zone Awareness Week, Florida. Every year, lives are lost in work zones because of speeding and distractions. When you see orange cones, remember, slow down, follow the signs, and stay focused. Workers are counting on you to get home safely, and so are their families. Let's work together to prevent crashes and save lives. A safety reminder from the Florida Department of Transportation. Slow your roll. Safety's the goal.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
The one, the only Mike Drock, Jaguar embedded reporter from ESPN and Jaguars Today Thursday co-host in season. D-Rock, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. What's going on, bud?
Not a whole lot. I did not get the invite to the Hunter nuptials that are apparently taking place this weekend. Did you get invited to Travis's big soiree?
No, but that's okay. Wish the young man and his bride a lot of luck and enjoy the weekend. I'm going to enjoy my Memorial Day weekend as well.
I am as well. I'm on vacation next week, D-Rock. I got a 9-day weekend coming up, so I am looking forward to it as well. I remember, I guess somebody reminded me that it was Dilla who spearheaded the Get Trevor and Marissa the toaster. Right?
Yes.
It was like the $300 toaster or something, the fancy toaster. So I looked, somebody sent me a link at Registry Finder for Travis and Linnea. I hope I'm saying her first name properly. But there's no actual registry attached to it, so you can't find. Curious what they need. I was willing to throw in $20, D-Rock, and get the ball rolling, and some nice kitchenware item.
Maybe there's a $150 can opener they could use.
Maybe there is, right? You never know. Yeah, the more money you have, the more high quality cans you need to open. Probably, D-Rock. Trust me, I'm just jealous. But it's been a whirlwind for a couple of weeks. Travis Hunter, rookie mini camp. He's been bopping all around the place. He had his graduation, back for OTAs. D-Rock, we can't tell anything from these little bits of practice that we're seeing. Not anything substantial, but you can see how guys move, and he certainly looks like he looks the part.
Oh, without question. I mean, he's the Energizer Bunny out there. Like, he's running around and doesn't seem to ever, need a break, doesn't ever breathe heavy. I mean, the kid's just in phenomenal shape, and, kind of just makes me tired watching him running around out there all the time nonstop. But, he's, young guy, great energy, seems to be infecting some of his teammates with that energy, and that's, that's good to see. If this time of year can kind of be a bit of a drag, but it looks like he's enjoying himself, and good for him. You know what I mean? He's the most important person that this team has drafted over the last 20 whatever plus years, with the exception of Trevor Lawrence, probably.
Right.
So we need to. It would be awful if he wasn't enjoying himself. So, yeah, it's been fun to kind of watch him. I've seen him, twice, I guess, the rookie mini camp and whatever day it was last week, or this week, Monday. Yeah, so good for him. Looks like he's having a good time.
Well, we're asking today in part, we're looking at the whole roster, but let's just focus on the offense here, okay? I think we're all confident that Brian Thomas Jr. is going to take care of his business, right? He showed that as a rookie. I'm pretty confident Travis Hunter will as well, but you can't know for sure what the workload is going to be. Mike, who is the player on offense for the Jags outside of Brian Thomas Jr. that you have the most faith in to perform at a high level in 2025?
Oh, wow. That's actually a really, really good question.
I know, it's a surprise.
It is a surprise, but, I mean, we're like really, really high level. At like a level,
whatever is a high level, and that's a fair question too, because like if you're comparing Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker, and you told me Trayvon's going to have 12 sacks, I'd be like, okay, that's a high level, right? It's a continuation of what he's done. For Josh, he's already shown a 17. Would I expect more for him? I don't know. So I guess it would depend on your expectations.
Yeah. Wow. It's really a good question because I have tempered my expectations for Travis Etienne a little bit, although I do think this will be a bounce back year for him. I really don't know what to expect out of Brenton Strange, to be honest with you, so I don't really have high expectations for him either. Trevor is coming off the injury and still inconsistent going into year 5. So, my expectations on him are tempered a little bit. And everybody else kind of knew. I guess the guy that I would probably have the highest expectation for, which is really weird to say on offense right now, might actually be Patrick McCarry, because he's done it at a pretty high level with the Ravens, and he's coming in and he's taken over that spot at right guard, and he's a physical dude, and he's a nasty player, which is what you want. So, I probably have higher expectations for him than I do some of those other guys just because, of the limitations that I spoke about. So maybe that's unfair on those guys like Trevor and Travis, and Diami Brown had done it in the postseason, but, wasn't really a big-time player or a consistent player for them at a high level for the Commanders during the season. So, I don't have exceptionally high expectations for him. I guess I would go with Patrick McCarry, as weird as that sounds.
I think that's fair if you're looking at the offensive line, right? Like, he is the guy that I have the most confidence is going to play and start 17 games because, in part, his versatility. I think Anton Harrison's close to him, but which version of Anton Harrison are we going to get, Mike? I mean, is this kind of – he's still a young guy, but – in some ways, is this a put up or shut up year, being the first year of the new regime? This is your chance. It's wide. The depth chart is wide open. You could forget the contract extension Walker Little got, right? I mean, I don't think that's going to factor in terms of playing time. It might have with the old regime because they're the ones who gave it out. Like, Anton's got a chance if he wants to be the left tackle to go grab that job and show it, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I heard you guys talking the other day. I think you were asking who are the guys that had the most to prove or most to lose, and Anton would definitely be on one of my top 5 guys of most to prove this year. I mean, when you come in as a rookie and you have the kind of season he had, which is pretty good, with a banged up shoulder all year, and then you come back in your second year and it's not at that same level, that's concerning. So you're wondering what's the commitment level that he has. How physical, how's he taking care of his body? You know what I mean? How much is he in the film room and all that kind of stuff? Those questions start to pop up, and I think going into this year, he's got to prove that he's a building block guy on that offensive line, because otherwise, we talk about, well, maybe he could win that left tackle job. Well, he could lose that right tackle job, and that could be Fred Johnson's job as well. And Walker could win that left tackle job. There's loyalty on that offense to 2 guys at this point right now, and it's Brian Thomas Jr., probably 3. Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, because he's the number 2 overall pick. He's the first pick there, and Trevor. And with Trevor, it's definitely because, he's got that long-term extension and he's around. So Anton Harrison has got a lot to prove this year, as does Walker Little, but I would put Anton Harrison a little bit higher on that list of guys to prove than Little.
You mentioned Etienne. What are your expectations for Travis Etienne? A, will he hold off the competition and be the opening day starter? And if so, what will that backfield look like? How will it play out in real time in terms of, how they divide up the workload.
I do think he'll end up as the starter on opening day. I think right now he's the best back that they have. He's the most proven back that they have. I do think his numbers will probably be better this year than last year. I think the offensive line is better, so that's going to help him as well. And there is going to be a massive commitment to running the ball. I think there's a feeling inside the building, especially in the locker room, that Liam Cohen's going to get this run game going again. After what happened in Tampa Bay, everybody saw it. They were last in the league in 23, and then they end up, fourth in the league in rushing last year. And the pieces here are in place, they feel like, that could make them make a similar jump, maybe not into the top 5, but certainly significantly improve the production. And Travis Etienne, like I said, is the most proven guy there. I think the rotation will sort of kind of shape out like it did last year a little bit, with Tank Bigsby, getting more work as maybe the number 2 back, and depending on situations and depending on who's got the hot hand there. And I think, Tootin starts out as the 3rd down back, but man, he's got to be better with the ball security. I mean, you could tell listening to Liam Cohen talk the other day that's an annoyance. That was a major annoyance. Here it is, the first OTA, and the ball's on the ground.
Right.
For a guy that they drafted who had that issue coming out. And, this was non-contact. This was not like full padded practice and someone stuck a hand in there and knocked it away type of thing. So that was really an annoyance for Liam Cohen, and that'll keep Tootin off the field without question, as it should. If you can't be convinced the guy's not going to throw it on the ground, then you can't play him. But if he can kind of continue to develop as a ball carrier and get that ball security better, then I can see him, getting more work on a first or second down basis as the season progresses.
Yeah, we talked about it the other day, Dylan and I. Kareem Hunt fumbled in his first carry, lost a fumble. First carry in the National Football League, went on to lead the league in rushing as a rookie, right? So I'll give him the one. It's May, right? And we'll forget all about it if he goes and tears up the preseason. We'll be all excited heading into the year. But you're right. And when that's the one knock against you, I mean, the athleticism's off the charts, the production's off the charts, but you got to hang on to the football, and that will get you in the doghouse in a big way. Mike, there are some interesting young players that are almost completely forgotten about to some degree, at least at this point in the offseason. A little bit like Ventrell Miller, not completely forgotten about, but with Kaiser coming in, we talk about what's going to happen with Devin Lloyd. Ventrell's there. Antonio Johnson's a guy who has yet to break through but has a lot of talent. Is there a guy like that on defense? Maybe it's one of them that you have your eye on to see if they can put it all together this year and maybe give us more than we're expecting right now.
Mason Smith.
I love that.
Would be probably the guy that I look at. I mean, the thing that impressed me about Mason Smith, you look at the numbers in the last, month of the season or 6 weeks of the season, he had like 3 sacks or whatever it was. But the thing that impressed me was, he's not playing early in the season. There's that whole question about whether Doug wasn't putting him on the field because he didn't want the pick and it was Trent's pick. But Mason Smith was brutally honest with us and said, hey, look, I wasn't doing the things that I needed to do in order to be able to get on the field. Like, I wasn't taking care of my body right. I didn't really want to study as much as I should have. I didn't realize how much studying I should have. I didn't listen to some of the older guys when they were trying to tell me, hey, eat better, take care of yourself, get treatment. You got to spend extra time in the film room, all that stuff. And when he realized that was kind of holding him back, he addressed it and got better at it and met it head on. And then that's why he started playing more at the end of the season, and we saw the athleticism come through and the talent. So that's a guy that I'm expecting, if you want an under-the-radar guy that might end up with a pretty big contribution and maybe a big season in 2025, that's probably one of the 2 or 3 guys that I would point to first.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think he was the big winner, or one of the big winners for the Jags in the draft, not getting that competition brought in. Maybe they would have, right, if they had found the right guy at the right point. But they unlike pass rush, where they had a backup plan, like they had Emmanuel Ogbah on speed dial. Obviously, they had spoken with him. I say obviously. I feel like pretty evident when you get him signed like by noon Sunday the next day that he was your fallback plan there. They didn't have a fallback plan in place for defensive tackle, which is another indication that they think they can get something done with the group that they have right now. Do you think Smith ultimately pushes to start ahead of Eric Armstead this year?
Yeah, I do. I think he does. Armstead seems rejuvenated about going back inside. We still, I'm still not really sure why he was outside, who wanted him to play outside last year, because we get 2 or 3 different stories throughout the course of the year of who wanted to go. But, he's saying all the right things and was pretty emphatic last year. He's going to go back inside. That's where he's at his best. Let's be honest. And I think that them not, like you said, drafting anybody or making that position a priority, because I think we all thought going into the draft that was one of their top 2 or 3 needs. But clearly they felt like, we can get by with the guys we got. We like Mason Smith. Apparently they feel pretty good about Jordan Jefferson as well. The one guy, who's under a little bit of pressure too is Devon Hamilton.
Right.
He just hasn't really been the same player since the back infection, and no fault to him. I mean, it was something that he had no control over, but he's under a little bit of pressure to kind of produce and get back to the level he was there before. But, I think Armstead and Mason Smith will end up being their 2 best defensive tackles by the season's over, by the time the season's over.
Because you see them playing them together a decent amount?
Absolutely. Yeah, throwing them in there. Like, there'll be a lot of rotational stuff in there.
Right.
You got to try and figure out what you've got and what kind of combination works best. I'm still expecting to see Trayvon Walker rush from the inside at some times this year as well. So, you can kind of mix and match in there too, depending on the situation, especially with Agba now out there. That gives you a lot more, he gives you that Arden key element of a guy that you think you can pretty much get 5 to 6 sacks out of and give you a solid number 3 guy. So they can move some stuff around. And that's one of the fun things I'm looking forward to. We talk about, I think we're talking to Anthony Campanile on Tuesday, and the questions are, it's like, what's it going to look like? What's the scheme going to look like? Well, they're not going to tell us anything. So we're going to have to kind of piece stuff together once we get into camp and see what they want to do. But I do think there are some pieces there where, they can kind of certainly make some significant strides from what they were last year.
All right, Mike DeRocco, what are you working on, if anything big? What's on the horizon at ESPN.com for your Jags coverage?
Yeah, I've been working on a Liam Cohen story for the past, month or so, about sort of his background, what people say about him and where he's headed, and, talked to a lot of people, some of his former coaches, a couple of guys that, know him pretty well, talked to his dad about his youth and stuff like that. So it's a pretty comprehensive piece here that's supposed to run early June, so I'm still kind of putting the finishing pieces on that, and then that's the next big story I've got, and then obviously we've got the normal OTA coverage next week and the week after.
All right, look forward to it. D-Rock, going to be a nice crisp 94 tomorrow afternoon for us.
Hopefully I shoot 94 better.
Will D-Rock break the weather? Will he break the temperature tomorrow? That's a good question. We'll find out.
That is the goal, baby. That is the goal.
All right, we'll be 2 older fellows out there with long sleeves, regardless, in mid-90s weather, because that's how we roll on the golf course. All right, Mike DeRocco from ESPN. Catch him all throughout the season here on Jaguars Today and frequently in the offseason as well. D-Rock, thanks for the time. See you tomorrow, brother.
See you, man. Have a good weekend to everybody else. Dylan, enjoy your Memorial Day weekend.
All right, there he goes.
Thank you, sir.
D-Rock out the door. Mike DeRocco. That's a good call. I think Makari is the guy I would have the most confidence in the offensive line, again, because clearly this regime has confidence in him because they went out there, got him. It seemed like if you were making a bet on who starts the most games on the O-line, I think he and Anton Harrison are the 2 best bets. Hainsey probably as well to some degree. Now we're getting, 60% of the offensive line here involved. But if I was going to take a bet on one guy, if they all stayed healthy, I'd say it's Makari. Because he does have the versatility to move around if you have injuries at other spots as well. And the financial investment is there for him. And that, they selected him very early in the process. And as we've talked about, Mike DeRocco said it right there, and plenty of others have talked about the Jags' desire to get that running game going in a serious way to take the pressure off Trevor Lawrence. I got a bunch coming in on the text line we'll get to when we come back. We'll go around the National Football League, and Dylan Denmark and myself will take a look at defensive players and our level of confidence for their 2025 performance for the Jacksonville Jaguars as we get into hour 2 of Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Every tackle, basket, and crack of the bat. Your radio home for play-by-play is 1010XL.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. With the weather starting to turn for the better, look ahead. Get that backyard ready for spring with a new screened-in enclosure. Maximize the space you have and make it great with Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. They truly are best in the business. If you have the space and the idea, give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Tell them Prosser sent you. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold and silver and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at almost $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar or trade it in for a new piece and get even more value at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Jaguars Today Thursday, brought to you by Cannons of Jacksonville.
Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars. Make them your AC partner with honest cost estimates before they start the work with no hidden fees. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC.
Join us at Miller Electric May 29th from 4 to 7 p.m. We're on the lookout for talented people, from entry level to experienced electricians and foremen, security system installation and service technicians, fire alarm system service technicians, and both senior and junior VDV technicians. This is your chance to get hired on the spot. Meet the managers, indulge in delicious food, and snag some awesome giveaways. Don't miss out on this electrifying chance to power up your career. Miller Electric, May 29th, 4 to 7 p.m., 6805 South Point Parkway.
This is Greg McGarity, President and CEO of the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl. And I'm here to share that the Gator Bowl is actually a year-round organization. We're known for the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl football game, which has been a Jacksonville staple for more than 80 years. Off the football field, the Gator Bowl is also host to the annual Florida State baseball game, a champion of local youth through Gator Bowl charities, and a strong networking organization of local individuals and companies through our membership. We're actually looking to grow membership, which is an affordable, fun way for you to get involved and give back to our community. To learn more, visit GatorBowl.com for more information.
Skilled trade jobs are booming, so begin your high-pay, high-demand career today through the Northeast Florida Builders Association. Their apprenticeship program provides paid training in some of the most highly sought-after skilled trades. Get paid while you train, full-time, in carpentry, electrical, HVAC, or plumbing. Plus, earn a 10% raise every year, and the classes are 100% tuition-free. Start your new career today and apply this week at nefpaapprenticeship.org.
To catch more fish, you gotta think like a fish. Captain Kevin and the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show, reeled in by the Pest Pros at Royal Pest Services, and Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Frank Frangie here. I was talking to a buddy the other day. His HOA told him his old fence had to go. I said, man, call Coil Fencing. They've been around the block since 1927. Heck, they probably built half the fences in Jacksonville. They do it all. Tough chain link for security. Those fancy aluminum ones the HOA actually likes. Nearly a century of keeping yards safe and looking good. If you need a fence, call Coil. You can trust the folks at Coil. 904-356-4821 or visit CoilJacks.com. COYLE Jacks.com.
Prosser here. It's a great time to sell your home, and I got just the people to sell it for you. Spring selling season is here. Rates are down, activity's up. Now's the best time in years to sell your home. Some homes are sitting on the market, though. Hiring an expert who can maximize your equity and minimize your hassle, that's the key. And I've been telling you who those experts are. Are you listening? I recommend Chad and Sandy Newman. Go to chadandsandy.com, the local real estate experts you can trust with the sale of your home. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. There are no long-term contracts, and you can cancel at any time. So whatever problems you think you have, I've got you this promise. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. There you go. Simple as that. Christopher on Anastasia Island. My home was too big for my needs. I wanted someplace smaller and easier to manage. I got multiple offers and sold in 3 days. with Chad and Sandy. You can too at chadandsandy.com or 904-414-6200.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
At Tucker Equipment Rental in Neptune Beach, you just don't rent quality machines, you rent quality customer service. Hi, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Dave. Tucker Equipment Rental has been supplying Jacksonville with equipment and event rental for over 50 years.
From commercial and homeowner projects, we've got what you need: lifts, dirt equipment, and landscape equipment.
And don't forget about event rentals, from festivals to weddings to backyard barbecues.
Local, knowledgeable, and always ready to help.
Tucker Equipment Rentals.
You need it, we've got it, come see us.
Summer in Jacksonville is coming in hot. Lauren Brooks here. Beat the heat with Turbo Tint. Their window tint blocks up to 99% of harmful UV rays and keeps your ride cool and comfortable. Book today at orangepark.turbotint.com.
Mia here for my friends at Closets by Design. It's been a few months since they built my custom closet. Even my family is obsessed. And with Father's Day right around the corner, why not surprise Dad with his own custom garage workspace? Tool storage, workbenches, the whole works. Closets by Design creates custom solutions for every space, lifestyle, and budget. That includes Dad's. Call to schedule your free in-home consultation and receive 40% off plus an additional 15% off. Visit closetsbydesign.com.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL local sports update brought to you by Southern Oak Insurance. The FSU Seminoles get ready to kick off their ACC tournament run tomorrow, entering the tournament as the number 2 seed for the first time since 2014. FSU went 17-10 in ACC play this season, seeking their first conference tournament title since 2018. Noles head coach Link Jarrett spoke ahead of the game of having the luxury of multiple players being able to start on the mound.
When you look ahead, you want to make sure you're aligning things for the following weekend too, so you keep the regional round in mind as you look at who you would throw and how much they would throw in this tournament. Quite frankly, we're not there yet. We do have a lot of good options. I do think all 3 of our guys are available, and that's a pretty neat luxury. And the bullpen is rested.
The Noles and the Duke Blue Devils tomorrow at the ACC quarterfinals, first pitch at 3. It's 82 degrees at 11 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, from the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, Dylan Denmark. Actually addressed to me and Tony. He's not here. He's got the day off, but we appreciate you thinking of him. I won't be thinking of him next week. I'll be off next week. But Tony will be back in with a great lineup for you. I said, all right, quick question. This may sound dumb, but does the center on the offensive line play all the offensive snaps? And if so, wouldn't he be the offensive lineman with the most starts and plays? Yes, that is true. I just have more confidence that Macari is going to start more games than Hainsey will. I don't think it's that much of a difference. I think Hainsey is your best bet to be the center on this football team, but they did draft Jonah Monheim, so they have another option there. I just feel like Macari's going to be the guy at his spot, and if you have an injury in another spot, that's only going to reinforce his value, his ability to move around if necessary. I mean, if you, let's say who knows, maybe Wyatt Milam is starting left guard, right? Do they still have Ezra Cleveland and Milam gets hurt, then Cleveland steps in, or maybe they dealt Cleveland as Chuma Odoga, who they signed this offseason, going to be that candidate so you don't have to move Macari around. Either way, yes, absolutely. Hainsey, if he locks down, he's going to play. Centers don't come off the field. Offensive linemen really don't come off the field, right? If they're established part of a starting unit, if you've got a group, that's your 5. They run out there the whole time. Even late in games, you don't see them taking many plays off because you want to build that cohesiveness between them so they work as a unit. But and plus your quarterback, you got a lot invested in him. So those guys, that's one position that certainly doesn't rotate at all typically, much like quarterback and very few others. Let's see, does Fortner make the 53-man roster? Another question. Nobody really knows on that one. I would think he would have to be the primary backup at center to do that. And right now on the depth chart, I would think that's where he is at the moment. But we'll find out. Just because, he played at Kentucky when Liam Cohen was there back in the day doesn't mean that he has an inside track to making the 53, in my opinion. He's still got to prove it out there. I mean, sometimes that gets brought up, Dylan, he had so-and-so here and that goes for any coach. Well, yeah, but they also know that guy's faults, right? They know his flaws. So, you may look at it and say, wow, we coached him up well enough to make him a third-round pick, and maybe that was a good job by us maximizing what his potential was. I don't think he's a lock to make the 53, but I can't rule it out. I mean, I think like a lot of observers feel, this is a wide-open offensive line group right here. Somebody said that Fred Johnson, again, another texter, Fred Johnson's going to be our first all-pro offensive lineman since Leon Baselli back in the day. And that's counting on a lot for a guy who's not even guaranteed to start, right? And granted, I guess none of them are guaranteed to start, although you would think the ones that they invested in. And, Johnson's a little bit of a different story because he didn't come in that first wave. They signed 9 guys in the first couple days of free agency, and then they signed Johnson a couple weeks later. He's a good player. Everyone's observation, he's a big guy. Yeah, he's big, right? There are plenty of big guys, and we'll find out. He'll have a chance, but I don't think they're bringing him in here and going, no, you're definitely, the swing tackle, or you're competing for backup snaps behind these spots, or whatever the case may be. No, you're coming in here. You're good enough to start 6 games for the team that went on to win the Super Bowl last year. And I don't recall a period of time when people were like, yeah, man, the Eagles usually have a good line, but it's kind of down right now. Somebody also brought this up on the text line. Nobody seems to be talking about Patrick McCarry leading the league in holding for offensive linemen. That might be an issue. He did lead the league in holding for offensive linemen. How many holding penalties do you think that equates to, Dylan?
What, 17 games last year?
17 games. He played all 17 games. He led the league in holding penalties last year for offensive linemen. How many holding penalties?
13.
6.
Okay.
Right? So it's kind of like,
I was thinking like 1 a game, but that's too much. Then 1 almost every other game be a lot.
It's 1 every 3 games, basically. I mean, it's still league leading total.
Yeah,
right?
And you can get away with holding a lot more in the interior than you do on the outside.
But even among tackles, nobody had more than 6. When you look at total penalties for offensive linemen, Tyler Guyton of Dallas had 14 penalties, plus a couple that were declined. That's interesting. You can track all this at Pro Football Reference if you're so inclined. McCarry had 6 holds, 1 false start, 10 total penalties, and 1 declined penalty. So it would have been 11. You compare that to Cam Robinson last year. Cam had 11 total penalties. His issue was false starts. Cam had 6 false starts. You could argue that holding is a worse penalty because it's usually more yards, right? Well, it is more yards than a false start. But you can also understand sometimes holding penalties. Yeah, it's not good to get beat, but sometimes you're doing it to save your quarterback's butt, right? And so you'd rather take the holding penalty than get Trevor Lawrence smashed, for instance. When you got 6 false starts, man, you're not even giving your offense a chance, right? You're just moving them back 5 yards right off the rip. Neither one's good for that matter. But I think that's a fair critique. It is interesting, too. Most of these guys are listed as tackle or guard. He's just listed on here as offensive lineman. Again, playing into the versatility that he brings to the table for this football team. But there's no question about it. It's just, I'm with you. I would have thought, as often as holding sometimes gets called, that 6 that'd be at least be double figures for some of these guys. But that is not the case. Anybody else on the Jags up there in total penalties on the offensive line? I'm not seeing anybody near
Cam Robinson.
Yeah, well, Cam, who we mentioned, right? He had the 11. But I'm not seeing too much near the top.
It's hard to get a penalty, Mike, when you go 3 and out almost every drive.
That's true. They have fewer opportunities to get penalties on this offensive line. So by not converting first downs, they help themselves out in this category, I suppose. But, I think it's fair to point out. And even though 6 doesn't seem like a ridiculous total, I don't want a league leader in that category. Why don't we, speaking of the league, take a look around it.
Now, gems around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacks Beach.
All right, as we mentioned earlier, Colts owner Jim Irsay has passed away at the age of 65. According to the team, he passed away peacefully in his sleep yesterday afternoon. He assumed day-to-day management of the Colts in 1995 when his father, Robert, suffered a stroke. And when the elder Irsay passed away in 1997, Jim became owner of the team up until now. We wish condolences upon all his family that survived him, including 3 daughters and 10 grandchildren. So quite a widespread Irsay family tree right there. And this one, Ethan Wall, we hardly knew you. I mean, literally, like, what did Ethan Wall do here?
He was hated because he was a bulky guy.
He's a bulky guy, but what did he do? Like, did he?
Nobody could tell you.
Did he give Trent somebody to talk to in the hallways that like got along with him? I don't know how that worked, but the Niners, according to Aaron Wilson reporting this one out of Houston, Niners are expected to reunite with former assistant general manager of the Jaguars, Ethan Wall. Previously, he was in San Francisco's personnel department before coming to Jacksonville. So they see some value in him. Haven't heard anybody knocking down the old bulky door these days. Don't anticipate that's coming anytime soon either. But, Trent Baalke, honestly, probably knows way more football than most of us combined, right? He probably does, but got to have the interpersonal skills. And just because you know football doesn't mean you make all the right decisions on personnel. And clearly he had some whiffs. He had some successes as well, but glad we could turn the page on that saga. Again, man, just think. And I know you've done it if you're a Jaguar fan. Had they not reconsidered, had Shad Khan not reconsidered that move when Liam Cohen withdrew his candidacy and he realized, wait a minute, how attractive is this landing spot? And all of a sudden it went from there's no way we can possibly upend the entirety of the organization in one off season. Come on, you didn't have to, right? It was a handful of guys. And then when the new guy comes in, he decides what he wants to do after the draft with the remaining. Some will stay, some will go. But we needed some new vision in here. Let's take our vision to the defensive side of the ball when we return here, Dylan. Today's Chad and Sandy Real Estate question of the day wants to know which Jaguar starter, other than Brian Thomas Jr. and the specialist, kicker, punter, long snapper, which starter do you have the most confidence in to deliver a high level of performance in 2025? I think there are definitely more candidates on the defensive side of the football that fit for me. We'll discuss those when we come back. Keep them coming in on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. You can call us on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines if you like, or on social media at MD_1010XL. Mike Dempsey, Dylan Denmark, Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Apex Roofing and Contracting, conveniently located here in Jacksonville Beach. Look, you want somebody local that you can absolutely trust. You want somebody that delivers quality work, uses premium materials, and offers ironclad warranties. That is Apex Roofing and Contracting, the peak of the business. Don't wait until the rainy season. We know that's no joke. If your roof's got damaged, leaks, or is just plain worn out, Apex is the way to go. Reach for the peak. Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacksonville Beach, or visit apexroofingfl.com.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL.
This is Fred Taylor.
I'm Bill Polian.
This is Daryl Johnston. 1010XL is the hottest radio on the planet.
1010XL.
1010XL.
92.5 FM.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Mayday, mayday, mayday.
Come in, Linda. Over.
We got a sea of new vehicles and they're priced so low they're rocking the boat. Come check out our biggest selection of inventory with prices that don't break the bank and our wow ya experience that will ensure smooth sailing for your next car purchase. Plus, take advantage of our peace of mind warranties, transparent pricing to provide you with a peace of mind. You better beat the surge and head to the all-new Beaver Toyota or Chevrolet for the car buying experience you deserve.
When it comes to your utility bill, JEA wants to help you use less so you can save more. We offer a variety of free programs, like efficiency and irrigation assessments that'll teach you ways to conserve energy and water around your home. Our alerts will let you know when your utility usage has reached a set amount, and our rebates can help you save when upgrading to more efficient appliances and equipment. Find even more ways to save at JEA.com.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Jaguars Today Thursday is towed by Cannons of Jacksonville for all your towing needs.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
Hi, I'm Malcolm Anthony. Have you been charged with a crime? You don't have to face it alone. I'm here for you. Stay out of trouble, but if you don't, call me. 285-4LAW. That's 285-4LAW in the 904.
If you miss an interview, it'll be waiting for you on demand.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Search where you find podcasts. And at 1010XL.com. Trained by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
Hey there, Jacksonville. With scorching temperatures just around the corner, it's crucial to ensure your AC is blowing nice and cool. Duck Air Conditioning is here to keep you comfortable all summer long. But don't wait until the heat gets here. Our service techs are ready right now to handle any cooling issues you may have at your home or business. Call Duck AC today at 904-862-6769 to schedule. That's 904-862-6769. Duck Air Conditioning. Online at duckac.com.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. From now until May 28th, we're holding our big diamond sale, and now's the best time to buy a quality diamond of a carat or more. Here are a few reasons. First, there's severe upward pressure on rough diamonds, with 4 price increases already this year. Most of this has yet to hit the polished market, so they're diamonds for sale at the old prices. Next, our diamond cutters asked us to house their inventories of existing big diamonds so we could sell them here prior to them being offered to the jewelry trade in Las Vegas. This allows us the ability to sell from their vast stock at brokerage prices you have to see to believe. All of these diamonds are graded for cut, color, and clarity with independent laboratory grading reports. Now, along with this vast collection of big diamonds, we put all of our own meticulously selected loose diamonds and engagement-style rings on sale at prices from 3% to 25% off. We also take trade-ins, but remember, this sale ends May 28th at Underwood San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
It's Work Zone Awareness Week, Florida. Every year, lives are lost in work zones because of speeding and distractions. When you see orange cones, remember, slow down, follow the signs, and stay focused. Workers are counting on you to get home safely, and so are their families. Let's work together to prevent crashes and save lives. A safety reminder from the Florida Department of Transportation. Slow your roll. Safety's the goal.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprosky at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaproskys are a husband and wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprosky are the answer. Craig.Kaprosky at Goosehead.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
So Dylan and I are just going through on the break. How many new starters will we have for this football team? Which, by the way, we shouldn't be afraid of, because when you earn the number 5 pick in the draft and you were one loss away from having the number 1 pick in the draft, then there should be some turnover. You should be excited about some new faces and some new blood. But, man, offensively, it could be a bloodletting. I mean, just a near complete overhaul with the exception of a handful of guys, and at least the starting lineup. And really not that much more widespread on defense, although if you go back, I'd have to go and look at the opening day box from last year. I think there are going to be more defensive starters that carry over from 24 to 25. Will Devin Lloyd be among them? I don't know. Will Jarian Jones be a starter this year, at least to open the season? Hard to say. Will Darnell Savage hold off Caleb Ransaw? Who will emerge as the two starting defensive tackles last year? I have to go back and look at the game book and see what they listed Eric Armstead as in the opener last year, Dylan. But we're talking about guys that you are confident are going to give a high level of performance. I think you can find a lot more of them on defense. Like, I'll start right there on the line. Trayvon Walker, I'm confident he's going to give a high level.
How many sacks, if you had to guess right now?
I'm going to say like 10 because that's the area he's lived in for the last couple of years. So if he's in that 10 to 12 range and he's giving you that great effort, he's giving you, solid play against the run. I'll take 15 sacks. I'll take 20, whatever. But I would think if Trayvon Walker produces 11, 12 sacks this year, that's playing at a high level. That's 3 consecutive years of double-digit sacks. That's going to be a short list of players that accomplish that. Or even have a chance to do that this year. We looked at it, it's like around 8 or 9 guys that have a 2-year streak going right now. So, yeah, my confidence level on Trayvon is pretty high. What about you?
Trayvon. I don't know if Trayvon is. I'm more confident in him than Hines Allen. I'd say he's more confident. I'm more confident that Trayvon Walker have a better year than Hines Allen.
Is your condition for Hines Allen different? Like we're talking about with D-Rock, like because he's been a 17 sack guy. If Josh Hines Allen is 10, is that the same? Do you feel the same as if Trayvon has 10? Is that fair to Josh Hines Allen just because he's been better in the past? If he gave you that same level of production, are you going to feel the same way about him if he gives you 10 or 11 that you would about Trayvon?
I still feel the same. I see where you're going with that, because you've seen the best out of Hines Allen in his contract year, but I still think that's a pretty good year. Having 10, and I wouldn't feel as diminished because I think, we've seen that from Trayvon and we've seen it from Hines Allen. I still think it's a really good year for both. And I don't look at it as it diminished because he's had 17 before.
Okay, that's fair. Look, we're not a franchise that has this rich history of guys with double-digit sack seasons. So if we could have a couple of them again, that'd be fantastic. So, all right, we like the rush ends to do that. I don't feel this like I'm intrigued by Mason Smith. A lot of people are. I hope Eric Armstead does have a bounce-back season, focusing on what made him a really, really good player, which was playing defensive tackle. I like if the coaching staff sees something in Jordan Jefferson, and Devon Hamilton might have something to prove, but I don't have that level of confidence in any of them individually that they're going to give that to us.
Not even Eric Armstead?
No.
I feel pretty confident he's going to have a pretty good bounce back year this year.
Are you 100% he holds off Mason Smith for the starting job?
Not all the way confident, but I would think that Eric Armstead is going to get the most snaps out of anybody in the interior D line.
Okay, what is a high level of performance for Eric Armstead? Is it a statistical measure? Does he have to hit a certain amount of sacks because he's playing defensive tackle? Those numbers are not going to come as easily. Like 10 for a defensive tackle is like
insane,
right? 15 to 17 for a defensive end.
Yeah, I mean, outside of everybody kind of looks at Aaron Donald the last couple of years to what a really good D tackle is, and you could look at his stats. A D tackle, you can't really look at a box score to see how impressive a D tackle is because there's so many times where the D tackle disrupts the pocket and forces the quarterback to go outside of the pocket and go on a run, or disrupt the run game in the inside and he has to bounce to go to the outside. So you can't really see it in a box score and see the tackles or the TFLs or sacks. But I do think Eric Armstead's going to be primarily playing on the inside like he was in San Francisco, and we're going to get the guy we thought we had last year that we were going to get from San Francisco the last couple of years.
Well, you do have, though, guys like Zach Seiler in Miami, and he's had kind of a late career breakout. There are some double-digit sack defensive tackles still in the league. It wasn't only Aaron Donald, but I got your point about that. That his impact, Armstead and the others, might not show up as much readily in the box score. All right, linebacking core. If you've got confidence in Devin Lloyd to play at a high level, I mean, God bless you. All right, you're probably watching with teal glasses. I don't think it's impossible for him to do that. Going back to what we were talking about with Trevor in hour number one, somebody said, Dempsey, you're finally questioning Trevor's ability. Wow, welcome to my world. No, I'm not. I'm not questioning his ability at all. I'm questioning his ability to deliver on that ability on a consistent basis, if that makes sense. Like, I think he has all the ability. I don't think there's anything you look at and say, Trevor Lawrence can't do this as an NFL quarterback. Can he do it play in, play out, down in, down out, drive in, drive out, game in, game out, all season long? Or, everyone's going to have a bad day, a bad throw, whatever. But you understand what I'm saying. He needs a higher level of down in, down out expectation in my book. How many times can we go this year if the Jags go 3 and out and Trevor sails 1 or 2 over somebody's head on the opening drive and we just go, he's just got to settle down? Well, no, settle down in pregame warmups, right? Come out there and take advantage of that talent. I think he's a super talented guy. I think Devin Lloyd is a super talented player, but he hasn't, it feels like, played to that level. PFF gave him a pretty good grade last year.
That's weird. PFF always has given him a good grade, but anybody you ask about him, it's like, he's not that good.
Right. He bad in coverage. What is his impact? Now, Foye, spoiler alert, this may be the way I'm leaning here. Like, Foye, to me, high level means he'll be among the top, I'll be conservative, say top 5 to 10 tacklers in the National Football League, right? Provided he has good health. And that's what he gives you. A couple of big plays. He'll have a sack or two, an interception or two. But that's not what he's going to be known for. He's going to be a guy who gets everybody in the right position, and he finishes plays as often as almost any defender in the National Football League. Like, that is, my expectation for high-level play from Foye. Definitely think he can hit it. That's secondary, Dylan. I mean, I guess you could argue Jordan Lewis in his role as a nickel back could excel, but Tyson Campbell's the big money man here. How confident are you that Tyson Campbell is going to give us, he's getting paid like one of the top corners in the league. How confident are you that people will feel that he is a top, let's say, dozen cornerback in the league by the end of 2025?
Yeah, he's going to have to prove a lot. I'm not, it's hard to be very confident when you haven't played as much in the last couple of years.
I'd have more confidence in him than anybody in the secondary.
Yeah, I would too. The safeties, I have no idea who's going to be playing safety and how, if you go percentage snaps throughout the entire season, who's going to get the most out of, anybody, out of Antonio Johnson, Savage, Dewey, and then the guys they drafted. But Tyson Campbell's definitely the highest, and then Jarian Jones would be second on my list on the confidence I have in the secondary. And then I wonder too, we still haven't seen Travis Hunter on the defensive side, and Liam Cohen, the first day of rookie OTAs, he said that Travis Hunter is going to get more on the defensive side. I guess it would have been last week. What are their plans for Travis Hunter on the defensive side in the secondary? Is it more of a third down? Is it more of, late in the half, late in the fourth quarter kind of thing? Or do they even know exactly what they want to do with him, playing him in the slot or the outside?
All these things have to be answered, right? Going forward. It's hard to know. Somebody asked here on the text line, why does everyone list Jared Goff in the top 10? He washed out of L.A., wasn't good enough for their Super Bowl run, and only now behind the league's best O-line is finally playing well. I don't know if I'd say he's finally only now playing well, but granted, I don't know if everyone has Jared Goff as a top 10 quarterback in the National Football League. 10 off the top of our head, that'd be better than Jared Goff. Just going through the divisions. Josh Allen out of the AFC East, Burrow, Lamar Jackson, let's see, Mahomes, certainly. Would you take Goff or Herbert? I think Herbert's got more talent. I think
Goff this year.
Goff has performed better, right? You got to put Hurts in there. I think you got to put Jaden Daniels in there. Baker, the way he has played of late, you could put in that argument. I'm at 7 now. That would put Goff at 8. I'm sure there are a few that are just,
Jordan Love.
I'd put Goff ahead of him right now after last year. It's kind of a year-to-year thing. It's a different question than who would you want to take to build your team around, right? And because teams are at different points in their future. By the way, I bet Jared Goff's younger than we think he is. How old do you think Jared Goff is?
31.
31. Let me see.
He got drafted 2016, so I'm assuming he's 22.
Okay.
That's 9 years.
He's 30.
Okay.
He's 30, but he'll turn 31 during the season.
Right.
So that's still not old, man. My man completed 72% of his passes, 4,600 yards, 37 touchdowns. Yes, he's got a great offensive line. But
and he had Ben Johnson last year.
No doubt. Okay. And he had McVay before that. But what are you going to do? He had a couple of years. He had back-to-back years with the LA Rams. Goff did. Now, I get it. In the Super Bowl, couldn't put up any points. The one they lost to New England, right? But he had back-to-back. Man, why is Pro Football Reference so janky these days? Back-to-back years with over 4,600 passing yards. One of those seasons, he was 32-12 touchdown to interception ratio. So I don't think he's finally playing well. He's playing at his peak, but I think he's had some pretty good seasons in the past as well. Hey, look, whatever works for you, man. They went 15-2 with him last year, but they didn't win the big prize. So I don't think it's universal that Goff is in the top 10 of quarterbacks out there, but I think it's reasonable to have him in the conversation for those last few spots. And we just briefly went off the top of our head on some of those quarterbacks. There are probably some other ones that we could include in the conversation. Where does Bo Nix fit in? Maybe not there yet, but trending in that direction after one season in the National Football League. As a, for instance, just would be nice if at the end of this year, Trevor Lawrence doesn't have to be cemented in anybody's top 10. I just want him back in the conversation. Oh, what about Trevor? Yeah, he did have a really nice bounce-back season. The arrow's pointing up. Future's bright under Liam Cohen. Let's have that conversation this time next offseason. All right, when we come back, we'll look at some of the responses that you gave today to the Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day, and we'll give you our final answer on this as well with our 10-10 take as we wrap up Jaguars Today straight ahead on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
There's something special about radio play-by-play. Always has been. In Jacksonville, your place for play-by-play is 1010XL. Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
Are you ready to step up to luxury?
Check out the power of our exciting 2025 lineup, including the Lyric, IQ, Optique, and the stunning Visti.
With over 15 electric Cadillacs in stock and more on the way, it's the perfect time to trade in your Tesla and embrace luxury with a twist.
At Randy Marion, there are no tariffs. Visit Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville, and see why our electric lineup turns heads.
Don't miss out. Drive Cadillac, electric or gas. We have both. Plus tax tag title $9.99 admin fee and resistol on approved credit.
Are you embarrassed by your ugly, cracked concrete driveway? Stop by Stone Core on Phillips Highway for all your outdoor living needs. Let them show you how a durable paver driveway can enhance your home. Visit stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Jaguars Today, Thursday, is brought to you by
Cannons of Jacksonville.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. Let's go ahead and dial it.
Dial what? When you call in your opinion or hear an interesting interview from a sports insider on Jaguars Today or XL Primetime, you're getting it straight from the Checkmate Coatings phone line all day, every day on 1010XL.
Guys, your lawn's the home field. Now you can champion your St. Augustine grass. TopDressing.com just hit Jacksonville with a game-changing patented process. Aerate and transform your turf into a fairway-worthy masterpiece. Less water, shorter cuts, and the envy of every neighbor. No one else delivers a perfect 10 lawn like this. Visit TopDressing.com and dominate your block with the same process that golf courses use. Top dress your lawn like the pros with TopDressing.com.
This is Hayes Carline, and I'm so proud of my guy, Leon Searcy.
Man, I used to want to eat all the time, but just 1 month on Precision Guided Weight Loss, and I've already dropped 15 pounds.
And I lost 25. No side effects, just results.
The GLP, one curbs my cravings and keeps me feeling full. It's been easier than I expected, and I feel amazing.
Their staff is great, and best of all, no surprise costs.
If you're ready to bring sexy back this summer, visit pgweightloss.com.
Physician-guided weight loss, safe, doctor supervised.
And it works.
ET here, and if you've ever been injured in an accident, visit my buddy Dr. McGowan at McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation Center. You have 14 days to see a doctor and protect your insurance benefits, even if you're at fault. And no matter what you hear, you have the right to choose your own doctor. So I recommend McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation. Their auto experts will guide you in every step of the way to ensure the care that you need. Your recovery starts with McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation.
Hey gang, Prosser here, and it's always great when you can replace a problem with a promise. And let me get right down to it. When it comes to Chad and Sandy and selling your home, here's a promise that you can count on. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Now, more. Spring selling season is here. Rates are down. Activity's up. Now's the best time in years to sell your home. Some homes are sitting on the market, though, and hiring an expert who can maximize your equity and minimize hassle is the key. Those expert agents, and I'm recommending them to sell your home, Chad and Sandy Newman. There have been lots of you out there on the First Coast who are taking advantage. Take David and Heather in Fox Ridge. This is out in Orange Park. We wanted to move to Keystone Heights to get closer to family, away from the city. We heard Chad and Sandy on the radio and called. What you hear is true. We got multiple offers and sold in 3 days for $15,000 above asking price. Call the local experts I trust and recommend to sell my home and yours. Call Chad and Sandy, 414-6200. ChadAndSandy.com.
North Florida is growing with lots of new families joining our community. If you're one of them making the move here, your next move should be a call to American Electrical to create the best home automation system, enhancing your living experience. There are many ways your life can be made easier through smart home technology, voice-activated systems, automated lighting, total house temperature control. With American Electrical, they've got everything you need to automate your home and make it your true oasis. Check out American-Electrical.com. Powered by professionalism and raising the excellence bar.
Hey, Hicken here. So much of what makes us a family takes place in our homes. That's where Zero Res comes in. I love Zero Res, and this month get Zero Resified from Jacksonville's #1 carpet and air duct cleaner with May Mayhem. A 3-room special starting at $149, plus the 4th room is free. You owe it to yourself and your family to breathe healthy, happy, and clean. Call Zero Res, 28757, or go online at ZeroResJacksonville.com and say you want the Hicken special. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, just to kind of wrap up some of these Jared Goff thoughts since we got on this train here. Dylan had just seen right after we went to break, Warren Sharp tweeted what about third down efficiency this year?
He was #1 among all quarterbacks
on third down
on
in
third
the league?
and fourth down.
Third and fourth, okay. And then granted, yeah, he's got a great line, okay. Still, he's producing behind it. So, you know, the person who brought him up said, hey, look, he's a top 2 pick by the T-Law argument. He's supposed to be a perennial all-pro. Well, there's a lot of stages along the way, right? Yeah, all right, your #2 overall pick is supposed to be a franchise quarterback. I think the Lions look at him as that now, but he's on his second team, but he has made 4 Pro Bowls. He's 29 games over 500 as a starting quarterback. He's had a lot of winning years, you know? So, and their reply was, point being, it's a difficult job, probably the hardest in professional sports. Yeah, tell us something we don't know, right? But it could take a while to succeed. I hate when fans want to get rid of the starting quarterback after 1 or 2 average years. Look, the Rams got rid of Goff after several exceptional years, and they just realized he was really good, but not good enough to get him over the hump to win it all. At least that's how they felt. He was a Pro Bowler. He went 0-7 as a rookie. Okay, throw out the rookie year. We throw it out with Trevor all the time. He was a Pro Bowler his next 2 years with the Rams, 11-4, 13-3. Followed that up with a 9-7 where he threw for 4,600 yards. His down year in 2020, which got him bounced, was 9-6 with 3,900 yards, 20 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. I mean, his bad year is like the good Trevor year. So there's a different range. Look, if we were in LA, we would have been pounding the table. Goff sucks, and we got to run him out of town. They did run him out of town. So, even the fact that he was a multi-time Pro Bowler for them, he's since gone on to make 2 more Pro Bowls with Detroit. And I get it. Market size does factor in all these things, but the numbers he's put up are pretty good. And the question was, why does he perennially or always get ranked in the top 10? I don't think he does, but, he's got some merit to be at least in the conversation. Let's put it that way. Let's see. And in comparison to Trevor playing for the Jags, this is on the text line, maybe not having success in the win-loss column. Matt Stafford on the Lions had 9+ wins in a season only 4 times in 12 years with the team. Right? Trevor's had 2 in 4 seasons so far. Fair points all. But, I still think Trevor Lawrence has a lot to prove. Matt Stafford, his peaks with Detroit statistically were way beyond what we've seen so far. Now, again, winning and losing, that's the bottom line. Go out and win 11, 12 games this year. Everyone's going to be happy and fine and feel like everyone's moving in the right direction. That's as long as you don't win in spite of your quarterback, which I don't think there's an 11 or 12 win team in spite of their quarterback. I think that's very difficult to achieve. Anyway, today's question of the day. I'm scrolling back. Yesterday's, by the way, let me give you the final tally on this. Over 50% were not happy about the idea of one of your team's star players participating in the Olympics. About, nearly 54% voted no. But the number one response was whether or not you're in favor of one of your team's stars participating. Yes, what an honor, 33.8%. The injury risk is too great, pulled in at 31.5%. Focus on my team came in at 22%. And yes, it's just great publicity is at 12%. That was yesterday's question. Today, we asked you, other than Brian Thomas Jr. and the specialist, which Jaguar starter do you have the most confidence in to deliver a high level of performance in 2025? Denmark.
10-10
take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take is serviced by Ideal Conditions Heating and Air, your go-to local HVAC company, veteran owned and operated.
Well, I don't know what the meetings are like behind the scenes, but I'd be very shocked if Foye Oluokun doesn't have a prominent role in this linebacker core once again this year. And if he does that, he's going to produce because that's what Foye does, right? It's not super sexy. He's not making the splash plays. He's not like a TJ Watt type outside pass rusher. He's a middle linebacker who can hoover up tackles, and to the point where he's led the league multiple times. If there's one guy I'm confident in replicating his level of play that we think is good, high level, I think Foye plays at a high level. Dylan, I think he's been a really good free agent signing for this team. If you gave me a top 5 NFL season in tackles, you don't have to lead the league in the category every year, right? Other guys are out there and in different circumstances. And, oh, by the way, if your offense is a little bit better, right, that means they stay on the field a little bit more, fewer opportunities that way for your defense. Also, that means they're more competitive in the fourth quarter, forcing other teams to pass more, right? If you're losing in the fourth quarter all the time, the run's coming. Yeah, you could pile up some tackles, but it doesn't mean it necessarily leads to winning football. But I think I'd put Foye probably number 1 on this list overall. I don't know how I'd split it between Trayvon and Josh Hines-Allen, but I have probably about equal confidence in those guys. And then if I had to go deeper on the list, I'd probably say Travis Hunter. And the only thing holding me back from maybe having him higher, and again, we're eliminating Brian Thomas Jr. from this conversation because I think everyone would feel that they're pretty confident in what he brings to the table. I think Travis Hunter is the only thing that holds him back from excelling is how much he's allowed to have that opportunity, in my opinion. How much is he able to get on the field? What can he hold up to? And I get it. He did it at Colorado. He did it at altitude. I think the conditioning will be there. But will he eat a sandwich sometime between now and training camp? He's not the thickest guy out there. And is he going to hold up to 17 games of the NFL grind, trying to play both ways as much as possible? Talent-wise, I don't have many questions about his ability to deliver for this football team. Again, what's the split and will it be consistent? Yeah, they're going to start him out on offense. What if they realize at a certain point they need him full-time on defense? do they pare back the offensive reps for him, out of necessity, if there's an upper limit to how many snaps he proves he can handle in the National Football League? So I'll go Foye number 1. I'll go the edge rushers second, and I'd probably go Travis Hunter as the only guy on offense. D-Rock made a case for Patrick McCarry in our number 1. Dylan, who's the top guy on your list for this?
I'll say Trayvon. I feel like Trayvon's the guy that we all think as Jaguar fans, because we watch him every Sunday, is really good, but nationally doesn't get as much love. Like you said, there's not many guys that have had back-to-back sacks of 10+, and we all have the confidence that he's going to do that again this year. And, I mean, that list is not that long of guys that can have 10+ sacks in 2 or 3 seasons consecutively. So I think Trayvon's going to continue that streak. I think Trayvon gets 12 sacks this year. I think he's going to be the best edge rusher on the team. So he'll be my number 1. Number 2, like I mentioned last segment, I think it's going to be Eric Armstead. I think he's going to make a massive improvement. You're not going to have the hockey shifts anymore. You're not going to have him playing on the edge. He's going to be primarily playing on the inside, and I think he's going to get back to what he was doing in San Francisco, and that was being disruptive and being one of the best D tackles in the league. And then number 3, I'll go with you, Travis Hunter, primarily because of the offense. It's going to be around Brian Thomas Jr., and then probably Travis Hunter's probably going to be the number 2 guy that's going to get a lot of the load, get a lot of catches, and the home run threat we've been able to see. He's fast, and if it's a speed thing. If I'm leaving, and I don't think anybody's going to be able to catch him if he and Trevor can have a good connection.
Think back to last year, and maybe it was because Brian Thomas Jr. wasn't the first receiver taken, right? And it was, he's not on this tier, although now in hindsight, yes, he is on that tier. He was on, it's really the Brian Thomas Malik Neighbors tier coming out of 1 year. And Marvin Harrison Jr., if you're redrafting today, I can't see how he would go ahead of Brian Thomas Jr. Certainly, Adunze would not. Keon Coleman wouldn't be in the conversation. I wouldn't take Xavier Worthy over him. But we were wondering, and here was the guy who had scored 17 touchdowns in the SEC. Yeah, but did he do it benefiting from the coverage that rolled to Malik Neighbors? Did he was it this? Did he run enough of a route tree? Well, he ran every damn route we needed him to last year when we finally asked him to do that. We're getting a guy in who won the Blitnikoff Award as the best receiver in the country, the Heisman Trophy. He was the number 1 recruit in the country as a defensive back. We know he's got the athletic ability. We know he's got the confidence level. I don't think the spotlight's going to be too big for him. Some people are just built that way. And so I do think, again, reps and snaps going to be the thing that ultimately dictates as much as anything what his final numbers are. Maybe not surprisingly, people want to believe in their quarterback, right? And I think a lot of people do. There are different camps on Trevor Lawrence, but I'm heartened to see as many fans, Dylan, as submitted Trevor Lawrence as their answer. The guy that they're most confident in is him to play at a high level this year. So let me go through some of these. Gus Logue, that name is familiar. Who's Gus Logue? Do I know that?
Some radio slappy? No, he's not on the radio no more.
He used to be a radio slappy. I don't know what he's up to now, but Gus Logue, now he's branching out. He's doing more writing. We're happy to have him part of the 1010XL family up until last week. He goes easily with Josh Hines-Allen, he says. Easily, Josh Hines-Allen. Our man Cristiano going with Trevor. This will be his year. Code Blue said T-Law with 4 Jaguar emojis that followed. They're actually leopards, but, it's what we got. Brandon ranked them Trevor 1, Trayvon 2, Josh Allen 3, but he said he could see flipping Trayvon and Trevor at the top. So another person, Mason, I have the most faith in Trevor. Those weapons, investment in the offensive line, seeing what Liam Cohen did with Bucky Irving last year. This has got to be the year. He's had pressure on him since high school. I think he finally puts it together this year. I hope that's right. I do. I just don't have that level of confidence as compared to some guys that I've seen it more consistently yet. Jay goes with Trayvon Walker, should be ready to explode in his 4th year. Terrence has full faith in Trayvon, expects a monster year. TFS Godfather, Brenton Strange 1, Trevor Lawrence 2. Devin Lloyd in a contract year. I mean, that is an incentivizer, right? I mean, Trayvon's thinking, man, want to get some of that good DN money while the money's good, right? And he'll be eligible for an extension after this season. Solbert gave us a top 5 of Trayvon, Trevor, Hines Allen, Foye, and Tyson Campbell. They're definitely the guys that they're paying in most of those cases to be those guys. I hope they're absolutely right that they come through at that level. For us, our time is done today, but fret not. Helmets and Heels coming up right now.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
Hello, Taylor Doll.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great. Did I hear you say 9-day weekend?
9-day weekend.
I'm so excited for you.
Oh,
I'm so excited for you.
I really am.
That's what I'm coming off of, and it was very nice.
Oh, it's great. I'm not doing a damn thing. I'll probably play a couple rounds of golf. I honestly, this is how little plans I have. I'm thinking about going to OTAs next week.
Hey,
like, it's open on Tuesday. What am I going to do?
Yeah, why not?
Sit at the house? Yeah, I'll go hang out and then just kind of saunter on out of there.
I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes those are the best vacations. Because sometimes the ones where you have a lot planned, you come back more tired than what you left
We
with.
got one of those coming up in June.
Okay.
But, I haven't had a week off since, I don't know, this time last year.
Yeah.
Tony and I like to go as long as possible because there's so much to talk about early in the offseason, right?
This is when it kind of starts to slow down for that gap of time, and you don't feel like you're missing a ton of stuff.
Everyone in the listening audience gets a vacation from me in May, June, and July, just so you know. Coming up today, we asked folks, take Brian Thomas Jr. out of the equation, take the specialists out, right? The punters, kickers, whatever. Which Jaguar player do you have the most confidence in to play at a high level this year? Whatever you define to be a high level, who is that player?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Going through, let me just quickly go through. I would say, I'm going to say, and this is, I think, a question mark too, because we haven't seen him there, but I'm going to say Jarian. I'm a big fan of Jarian Jones, and I think that he has that extra level of competitiveness and that little extra, oomph we haven't had in a long time in Jacksonville. And I know now we have Travis Hunter and some of these other guys they brought in that have that. But I do think that Jarian, from what it sounds like, has wanted to play outside corner. He's confident he can play outside corner, so we'll see what that looks like. But I do think that it'll add an extra level of something for him because he does have something to prove. Last year, he pretty much got replaced at the nickel corner spot, and now he has to be able to perform at a high level across from Tyson. So I am confident, and I know maybe some people have their questions about it, but Jarian's one of my favorite players to watch last year, and I think it's just going to keep getting better.
I love that as an answer. The thing that holds me back from that is what is the role going to be?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, because Travis Hunter, if he's able to handle it, I mean, you're playing your number 2 pick. Tyson's got all that invested in him, and I still think he's a very talented guy, and you pay Jordan Lewis to be your nickel. Does Jarian get the opportunity to show that as consistently?
That he can be that,
he can?
yeah.
I think you're right. I think there's a lot of potential there. We had some good answers today, though, on that. Foye was my
and I was going to say that, but I do feel like that is he has to. Yeah, I mean, he's somebody his whole career. That's what he's been. He's never been the guy where you feel like there was any drop off whatsoever. It's been Foye his entire career has been. This is what he is, and that's what you expect from him. So I think most people, if you just said the person that will come out and do what they've done their entire career, would be Foye.
Yeah. I have a lot of confidence in the edge rushers as well.
Yeah. Did anybody answer Trevor?
Yeah, a lot of people answered Trevor. And I think some of that's wish casting, right?
Yeah.
But look, he's got the talent.
Yeah.
And if you believe that, who am I to tell you to not believe that? Have that belief until he proves you otherwise.
Yeah.
And let's hope he doesn't.
Yep.
So what's coming up today?
Yeah, so we have, I guess, a little bit similar. We're going to go through and we're going to name our Jaguar player that so we're going to go 2 different ways. We're going to say a player that is kind of, I don't want to say underrated, but someone maybe that should be talked about a bit more on the Jaguars. And then we're going to do league-wide too. So a couple players that each of us feel like maybe should be having a little bit more hype right now heading into the 2025 season here and then also around the NFL. So we'll chat that. We'll chat some basketball.
Please don't.
I know.
Please don't. Some basketball. That could be anything. Continue.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit of basketball, a little bit of NBA. I jokingly, one of my friends was talking about that, obviously, that last shot, and he was like, that thing bounced up to the moon. I was like, it was in space longer than Katy Perry was
off the rim, I might fist one in the air.
I know. That's what Dan Hicken was saying. He thought it was done.
I thought from the outset, though, it was a 2 all the way.
Yeah.
Like you could tell he didn't get behind. I'm like, he's gonna try to win the game and walk it off, right?
Yeah.
And he's in around the free throw line. I'm like, don't believe it. He's gonna go out to the 3, and he did. And And, that's
I know. Heartbreaker for you guys.
A crusher. Just a crusher. What are you going to do?
Yeah, so we'll chat a little bit about that and probably a little bit more Gator basketball, too, because that's been kind of the highlights, some of the new players and what Todd Golden's doing there. And then they were at the White House yesterday, so a little bit of everything.
This is one day I'd actually rather hear about Gator basketball. So I hope you talk a lot about that. I'll be listening either way. Taylor, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, there she goes. Taylor Dahl, Helmets and Heels coming up for the next couple of hours. Dylan Denmark, another solid job by you. Very Foyer Lewickin of the producer crew right there. That's a compliment, by the way.
I was about to say, I take that as a compliment.
You should take that as a compliment. You do have the high-end upside, though, over Brian Thomas Jr. I just like to see you realize it a little bit more. But we'll see. Tomorrow's another day, right? We'll effort that out of you tomorrow, along with Tom McManus joining us in studio, and that will do it for Jaguars Today on this Thursday. Thanks to ESPN's Mike DeRocco for stopping by to talk Jag football. For Dylan Denmark, I'm Mike Dempsey. Stick around for Helmets and Heels next on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
I told y'all to get off the kilo.
Jaguars Today.
You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson